What's up, Quakes fans? We are back today with another episode of Tectonic Takes. It has been a minute. It's been about 2 weeks to be exact. We're back with Devon. Devon, how you doing today?
I'm World Cup ready. Been watching the World Cup since day one. I'm excited. Ready for this
Yes, I
podcast.
believe I believe Devon has seen every single World Cup game. Have you seen them all at San Pedro, or are they like on your phone, or a mix of the two?
I've seen a mix on my phone. I've seen a mix at San Pedro, and I've also seen a mix with my family on the big screen TV
That's
in
right.
our house.
But
So, yeah.
didn't you go to one of those games?
Yeah, we actually went to the shout out Austria. I think it's upside down. I was not prepared for this moment, but yeah, we are Austria. Other side says Österreich. Yeah, I wasn't really in favor of supporting Austria for this World Cup, despite the fact that they're German and I have German roots. But it was one of the only games that we could really afford to go to.
Right. Yeah.
And
That's
like
the main
you know,
factor.
yeah, that's the biggest factor. And so like what else can you say? Of, like I've been to a World Cup game. It's just it's a couple of $100s. It's a lot of money. Albeit there are some games like England that are like $2,000. But
Exactly.
at the same time, like it's a World Cup event. You never know when the next time you'll be able to go to one of those. So you just got to kind of pull the trigger on a game.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Ivan is doing tonight. He's going to the Algeria Jordan game. I hope he enjoys it. But for me, yeah, I went to the Austria Jordan game, watched 3 goals. I learned a lot of the Austrian chants before leaving, just so I could immerse myself better and have a better time. And then sure enough, like we got tickets unbeknownst to us right next to the Austrian ultras. So that was even better because I love kind of like the that dedicated fandom environment, and yeah, I really enjoyed the game, to be honest.
Yeah, as you guys might have guessed, today we're going to discuss the World Cup. We've been trying to keep it purely Quakes for a while, but there is no Quakes to talk about. So we got to talk about something, and might as well talk about the biggest sporting event on Earth. But we also have a rumor to discuss. We're going to be breaking here. We also are just going to talk about former Earthquakes still playing in the World Cup. You can probably guess who. And also just the thoughts on the World Cup. It won't be a super long episode, so we hope you're able to stick around. First up on the list, Devin, you said you wanted to shout out some people who you ran into at San Pedro Square.
Yeah, man. The beauty of the San Jose Earthquakes and hosting this event is you're gonna meet a lot of people that you never thought you got to meet. Sure enough, went to San Pedro Square Market. There's a season ticket holder area specifically dedicated for us. Walked inside, bunch of couches laid out in kind of like a 90-degree angle, all across some private areas of the Irish bar. I'm Irish and I can't even O'Flaherty's. I think it's O'Flaherty's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, so met a bunch of Earthquakes fans there. I didn't really necessarily want to promote Tectonic Takes. I don't want to like shove it in people's faces, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
But during conversation, some family and I had brought it up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, what is the name?" And then we're like, "Oh, it's Tectonic Takes," and we showed them the podcast, and I had watched them subscribe to us. So shout out everyone that I met at San Pedro Square Market. And shout out to everyone who I'll meet after this video is posted out and you watch this later on. Excited to have met you and will meet you. Really cool environment.
Just point them exactly to this part of the video and be like, the shout out to you actually, specifically. Devin, I should hand you like a few of these stickers so you can hand them out to Quakes fans you meet out in public. These are the current official Tectonic Takes logo stickers. Only a limited amount, but I think this would be a good opportunity to get them out there for free. I'm still working on the design, so I want to have a more official one before we start selling any kind of merch. But regardless, before we talk any more World Cup, I think that there's a very important rumor that I have to bring up. And I want to be clear that this is a rumor. But God, it hurts to say, doesn't it? So it looks like Daniel could potentially be on his way out at this stage. He posted on his story, a now deleted story, and it's been a few days anyway, so it wouldn't be up, but it was only up for a few hours. It was a jersey, a goalkeeper jersey, that was signed by the whole team, wishing him good luck with frowny faces, stuff like that. And the song that he had playing over the story was a song called Memories. I don't remember the artist or any more details other than that. So that's pretty damning in itself, but also I did notice separately that Daniel's wife was also listing a lot of their belongings on Facebook Marketplace to be sold. And obviously, when I saw that initially, I was like, "Oh, well, that's not. They're just like, downsizing, whatever." But those two things in combination, it's it gives you a lot to think about. And obviously, Daniel is one of those players that we can't really afford to lose at this stage. I would assume that if we're moving him on, we got to bring someone in because we don't have anyone right now even close to Daniel's standard. But what do you make of this? Evidence. Also not confirmed, but I just want to keep making that clear.
Yeah, I mean it is unconfirmed, but it's also it's a non-nothing, if that makes sense.
Right,
like,
exactly.
There's got to be something in those combination of events, selling on Facebook Marketplace, and then a jersey of people saying their goodbyes. Like, you don't just say goodbye to someone and not have them leave. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we've seen instances and moments in the past where Daniel was potentially on his way out, but then nothing kind of came of it.
Right.
But I think this is a different story. And obviously there's not really much else to go on because the Earthquakes like to keep their lips sealed. But a goodbye post is definitely, something to be of concern. And the fact that we have very little goalkeeper depth, not to say that our current goalkeeper depth is not up for the task. I just think that there's a big disparity between the level of talent from Daniel to the next level. Exactly. We need to find someone in replacement if Daniel goes to match that level of talent in goal, because man, if you want someone important, you'd want him in goal.
Yeah, 100%. This is, obviously we love Daniel. He's always been super nice. But this is a big impact on the field. He's probably, Quakes fans are going to tell you he's the best keeper in the league. He was robbed of that award last year or 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. Roman Berkey ended up winning. But we all knew that it should have been Daniel, even though he was playing for a worse team at the time. But we're in a really strong run right now, and it would be super weird to move your starting keeper, and you don't have a secondary keeper who is close to his caliber. Like, we've seen good moments from Earl Edwards. I don't want to disparage his name at all. I think that he's been great for us in the times he's been called upon. But I think that even if we were to buy a keeper from another team, I don't even think that they could match Daniel's standards because of how good Daniel is. And that's the issue here. Is there any keeper other than like Hugo Lloris, who you would be looking at from another MLS team to potentially bring in? I'm thinking like maybe Johnson, but he's really old at this point. And I don't think I'd want an international slot on someone like Gayese from Orlando. Yeah, Orlando. I can't really think of anyone. I want Daniel. That's who I'd want.
I think Daniel is the main priority. I know we were in talks with Johnson, I believe, in the off season, and potential in a potential move to evict Daniel from the San Jose Earthquake spot, but that didn't happen. And then we retained Daniel, and obviously we're now in this predicament. I would love to have an American overseas goalkeeper come to the San Jose Earthquakes. I like looking at Matt Freese's record right now with the U.S. national team and the World Cup. I would love to have someone of Matt Freese's quality, but I think just pulling them away and convincing them to join one of the MLS's previously worst ranked teams in the last 10 years is a daunting task for anyone in the front office. So obviously that's just my hopes to bring someone like Matt Freese. That if there's a name, it would be that.
Yeah, from New York City FC, very strong goalkeeper. Obviously, bringing out a lot of big name keepers. I think for the task, people probably would have thought that Zach Steffen would have been nailed on a few years ago, and obviously that hasn't really worked out. Strong keeper, I think, in this league, but he was playing for City a few years ago, so the kind of the difference in level where we would have thought he was going to be and where he actually is ended up being is a big difference. Sean Johnson, someone mentioned, he's 37 years old. Sorry, I was going to say 7 years old. It's not correct. 37 years old, playing for DC United. Probably too old at this point to really replace Daniel for any kind of long-term campaign.
I have a shout. Hear me out, Abram. Bring back JT Marcinkowski. I know he's competing for a first-team spot in LA. Even though he plays for LA, wasn't necessarily his fault to leave San Jose in the first place.
Right.
LA may want to cling on to him, but I would love to have him back here in San Jose. Won't be a homegrown deal, but, I think it would be lovely to bring him back.
I mean, if I'm thinking emotionally, I would love to have JT back. And I think that he does, come closer to bridging that gap between our first keeper, Daniel, and our second keepers. But I don't think that, probably about 75% of the way there. Especially after his injury, he's, probably not as good as he was. Still very good, and, he's been successfully fighting for the first team spot at Galaxy. It would be kind of really hard to pry him away from them, but that's obviously a move I would love to see. Another keeper I thought of, if we could possibly make that happen, I don't know his status right now, Ethan Horvath. I don't know if you remember that name, Devon, but let me actually see where he's at, Ethan Horvath.
So I remember that one call, and I think it was from the Gold Cup, where he had made an incredible save, and the commentator was like, Ethan Horvath with the save of his life. And I think it was like the semifinal or final of the Gold Cup or Leagues Cup, and I can't remember what it was.
So he's a keeper that has played abroad. He's currently at New York Red Bulls. You obviously, I know you're a Red Bulls fan, not a New York fan, a Red Bulls fan. He played in Molde in Norway. Played Club Brugge, Nottingham Forest, Luton Town, Cardiff City, Sheffield Wednesday. Now he's back in MLS. Made 2 appearances so far for New York Red Bulls. Again, not probably as good as Daniel, but is somebody with some kind of resume who, I don't think 2 games at Red Bulls is really showing me that he's solidified there. So obviously a keeper that some people thought was going to end up playing at this World Cup when he was a teenager. Kind of a similar hype back in the day as Gaga Slonina. That's a player who would be great, but I don't think that we can't have that reach. I don't think Bruce, maybe he does. Maybe I'm wrong, but
hey, if Bruce can pull Timo, I think he can pull just about anyone at this point.
That's what I'm thinking. Bruce has done things that I never thought he would be able to do. So Slonina would be really, really nice, especially because he's not super old at this point. So that would be interesting. But the point is, we're scrubbing through these names, and I don't think anyone really sparks joy the way that Daniel does. I would love to keep Daniel ahead of everyone we mentioned. I think my favorite is who you mentioned, JT Marcinkowski. That would be really good to bring him back in. Again, it's really hard to reach the level that Daniel has. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if any of the viewers out there, if you guys have any mentions, honorable mentions for goalkeepers, please write it down or type it down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your opinions on what goalkeepers you guys want to have signed. I think Emi Ochoa is not the idealist choice, but it was weird to kick him out at 19, 20 years old. He seemed like he was promising. Probably wasn't a first team candidate for the next 3 or 4 years, but now that we're having a goalkeeper crisis, I think it would be cool to have kept him on and replaced him with anyone in the depth chart just to see how good he was doing. But I guess he's at Cruz Azul now, having a good time, winning championships with the team. So maybe he's happy he moved on from the Earthquakes and is lifting trophies.
I think so. When he left, we weren't doing very well. And we got, a few million for him? like someone who never played an MLS match, only Open Cup and some friendlies. But I just thought of somebody who I'd really like for a replacement for Daniel, and
Ter
that's
Stegen?
that'd be great. But no, although that would be interesting to use a DP slot on a goalkeeper. My thought was Andrew Thomas,
Ooh, good show.
the backup at Seattle, who is basically the starter now because he is better probably than the current starter there. Is it Smetzer? Is it Smetzer who?
Brian Schmetzer?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. Let's look at some of his stats. He actually was born in Russia, but he spent some time as a Stanford Cardinal, played 55 games for Stanford, so obviously knows the Bay well. He was at one point contracted to Watford, but he obviously never made an appearance for them. Played for San Francisco City in 2019, but has been very solid as a backup for Seattle Sounders. Was the keeper that you did not want to face for Quakes 2 when he was playing for Tacoma Defiance. He was like, if you're going into a penalty shootout, like after a tie, and you're facing Seattle, it's like, oh my god, like this guy is one of them games. Yeah, it's crazy. He is an incredible goalkeeper. That's someone who I would love to bring in, but I can't see Seattle wanting to let go of somebody this good, who's only 27, and in goalkeeper years, that's very young. Yeah, we can dream, but that's probably my number one, ahead of JT even.
Plenty of dreaming over here in San Jose Earthquakes territory.
Yeah. I mean, we're saying names like Ter Stegen, so why not Andrew Thomas?
I was just about to say, as a Spurs fan, we have a brand new first team goalkeeper. Even though he had a big mistake last year that almost cost us a game, or did cost us a game, I guess. Vicario has found his way out of the Tottenham Hotspur first team, and he may be looking for moves elsewhere. I think it would be cool if we can bring Vicario to San Jose. It, again, like you said, might be a DP contract.
Yeah, long shot.
And weird to put a DP in a goalkeeper position, but defense wins championships, and if goalkeeper's a pretty damn good start at winning a championship.
Yeah,
I say we can bring in Vicario.
Yeah, I agree. I think people would say it's very risky, but I think that if it's like a keeper where you're guaranteed to have the best keeper in the league, it's better than not using all your DP slots. I understand that you get a financial incentive for not using all DP slots, but I don't see that financial incentive impact me at all. Like, I'm not. I'm sure Fisher would like to not, have to pay for all three DPs, but I don't care what he pays for. I'd like him to pay more money, please.
Fisher wants the money, no matter what.
Right. But that's all for Quakes news at this moment in time. It was Nico's birthday recently at the San Pedro Square, and I know that you were at that, Devon. Did he look okay? Did you see him walk around at all?
Yeah, he was walking around, I think, with a very small, noticeable limp. Mm-hmm. But he didn't have any like brace or anything on his leg. He just kind of walked out with shorts, socks, and shoes. So looked like a normal guy. If you didn't think he was a football player, then you would have just thought he's just a healthy dude walking around. So I think in the construct of things, Nico's road to recovery is looking pretty healthy and stable. So, kind of looking forward, excited to his return potentially for the San Jose Earthquakes in probably 2 or so months.
Yeah.
Not expecting to see him anytime soon. Yeah, just because you have a brace off doesn't mean like he's going to return against the Galaxy or Orlando City. Like it's going to take some time to rebuild that muscle, etc. So excited though to see him outside, out of a boot and walking about.
Exactly. I wonder if they put you in a boot when you have a groin injury. It's just like a pair of pants. It's just like, don't move this. No, I have no idea. But somebody who we do know did wear a boot at one point was Dewan Jones, who was seen up walking around at a Earthquakes camp. I don't really know the specifics of the event, but Dewan was there and he was walking, no crutches. He apparently did have a slight limp, so that shows us where he is in his road to recovery. We knew that that was going to be a season-ending injury, so no surprises there. But it's good that it's going in the right direction, right? That's what we want to see. But speaking of San Pedro Square, the Earthquakes are hosting all 142, I believe, games. How has that been? Has that been like what it's been hyped up to be, Devin, as someone who's been there?
I think it's been more than hyped up to be honest. If I'm giving you like my genuine honest truth, like as someone who mainly supports I say mainly, I support like 7 international teams. Right. US national team, Germany, etc. Like I go to see a lot of those games to choose a side and to kind of immerse myself in the passion. But as a USA fan, as a Germany fan, as just a fan of
You're wearing Austria right now.
A newly found Austrian fan. But there's not many Austrian fans around the Bay Area, unfortunately. It is, I think the numbers of attendees have been overwhelmingly positive for the Earthquakes anyway, in terms of like recognition and whatnot. But I think overall, like holistically, just being surrounded by, what was that number a couple of days ago when Mexico had played their game? It was like 30,000 fans at San Pedro Square Market.
Wow.
And things got rowdy. There was just a buzz and energy in the air. Yeah. Like when Colombia and Brazil played, it's the same exact atmosphere. Like a lot of noise, a lot of hype, energy. That's what you go to see, to watch those, when watching those international games. Like you love to be surrounded by those things. And I'm just like thrilled that the Earthquakes had managed to pull this off and decided to kind of take a risk in going to San Pedro Market and giving these viewers an opportunity to watch with other fans and make new friends like I did and whatnot. I would highly recommend going to San Pedro Square Market. If you're out there listening to this podcast and you haven't done so yet, please make your way to San Pedro Square Market. Bring a chair. Get there early. Bring a chair. Sit near the front row, etc. Bring like a blanket. They have grass out there for you to sit on, but bring a cushion just in case. Yeah, it's a fun atmosphere. I love. I like it might just be a personal thing, Abram. I don't know. Some people like sitting isolated, watching games just for the personal atmosphere. But being in a crowded, surrounded area with people who have like-minded emotions towards the things that you like as well.
Yeah.
Is just incredible. Have you made it out to a game yet there?
No, it's impossible for me to do so because I work, all week. Every weekday I'm working, and I start in San Jose, and so I'm like so close to the action, but then I always end my day away from San Jose. I never like start away and then end up in San Jose, and so it's just like I drive all day, and then I'm like, I'm in San Francisco. I don't want to drive back to San Jose for a game, and at that point I only get like the 6 o'clock game, and it's like only one game. I would love to go to watch, they probably show like 3 games a day or 4 games a day. I'd love to watch all of them. Like I want it to be like a big thing. I don't want to, because it's a trip for me, to be honest. Like I go to the Earthquake Stadium, and that's like, I do that weekly, or did. There's no games there right now, but I did that weekly, and it does take a toll, especially if I'm driving that day, right? And the weekends have been really busy for me as well. So it's been tough to see just how fun it looks. Like the Earthquakes are posting videos, and I see all the people there having a good time, and I'm just in my car, in my little Prius, delivering medical supplies for the people. But obviously this World Cup has brought a lot of unity to the world. Like a lot of people are really enjoying this called the sleepover, as the Europeans and African nations and all them come and support their teams, and it's been really cool to see, especially the Scottish people in Boston. I don't know if you've been able to see any of those videos, Devin. the Tartan Army having a great time over in Boston,
Yeah,
and the Koreans
love
in Mexico. Likewise.
love the Tartan Army. I mean, my blood is part Scottish, so we keep a close eye on the Scots Tartan Army. I might have to buy a kilt at some point just to to go along. 2028 actually is a family goal to head out to the UK and watch a bunch of the Euros games in all Ireland, Scotland, England, etc. That's a big goal of ours. So we're keeping a close eye on a lot of the European teams, and most specifically Scotland, who are unfortunate in their most recent game against Morocco, which I thought they could have walked away with a point, to be honest. But this is the World Cup. Like, anything can happen. I think one of the dark horse teams that we were talking about just before starting was Cabo Verde, and there's a former San Jose Earthquake on the team, Jamiro Montero, who's actually looked quite good. For them. I mean, his physicality hasn't changed at all. He's getting bodied off the ball, but that's something that Earthquakes have done.
He's very small and skinny, but he'll fight for it. But he's like not gonna.
Yeah, he's got the heart of a lion. But they've drawn 2 games, first against Spain and the second one against Uruguay. Like, I don't think anyone walked into this tournament thinking Cabo Verde was going to walk away with a single point, nonetheless, too.
And so that's the team that if you're a Quakes fan and you have no other affiliations for some reason, and you're just like, I just want former Quakes to do good, that's a really interesting group H, because Cabo Verde is in 3rd place, and they are facing Saudi Arabia, who they can beat. Obviously nothing is promised, but they can beat Saudi Arabia. But I don't know if Uruguay can beat Spain. And so they might end up being ahead of Uruguay. And obviously there's so many ways that this can go, but that would be very interesting to see a former Quakes player into the World Cup knockout stages. I don't know if we count. I mean, we're gonna take credit for him anyways, but Max Arfsten hasn't played any time yet. I don't think. I've seen both USA games, and I don't remember seeing Max Arfsten at all. But he is a player who is officially into the knockout stages. So congratulations to Team USA. They've been one of the best teams to watch. Like, I'm Mexican, but I'm also American. USA. I haven't seen a better team than USA, at least from some of the games that I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely are better teams. I think France is a better team. I think
that's a good point.
Argentina have been fairly lucky with having Lionel Messi on the team. If it wasn't for Lionel Messi, this might be my tectonic take. I don't see Argentina getting past the group stage.
Let's talk about that, because we look at this Argentina team. I'll pull them up on Fatma while I'm speaking. They don't look that good. Like they have Julian Alvarez. I'll say it in Spanish so that I can actually say it out loud. And then they have Rodrigo de Paul, who is effectively a MLS midfielder at this point. They have a good goalkeeper, but I wouldn't say that this team is World Cup winning, caliber. Portugal looks better than them on paper, by a lot. That midfield is incredible. Turkey, I would have said, looks better than them on paper without Messi. You add Messi to that team, it's like, what are we talking about? This is the best team on earth. And it's crazy, but it just takes one guy, and they all just run their ass off for him and make everything work for him, right? And then he's been delivering on that, because you don't want to run that much for someone who's not going to actually produce, but he's producing. So that's probably their game plan. And so everyone facing them is like, okay, how do we stop Messi? Nobody's ever been able to do that except for Daniel Mooney. So, that's something to consider. But
Very true.
It's been interesting to see how Messi just because prior, a few years ago, it's been the narrative was that Messi couldn't do it on the international stage, and he's had better Argentina teams. He's had Aguero with him. He's had Mascherano. Obviously, last World Cup, he still had Di Maria, but not to the same extent that he would have in years prior. But this isn't the best Argentina team we've ever seen, but they're performing, better than any of the teams that I previously mentioned.
Yeah, sorry. So for context for the viewers who are watching this episode
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube rather than Spotify, you just saw me react in a weird way. It's because the Norway is currently playing right now, and I can hear my dad watching the TV on the other side of this door, and he's screaming because something just happened. I don't know what's happening, but it's very muffled in my ear. But yeah, someone must have just scored right now.
2-0 Senegal. Why doesn't it show me who scored? Let's see.
It might show it just below, but
Holland. Actually, no. It's 2-1. Ismail Assar just scored. So they're back in the game. Live updates here at Touchdown Takes. Now you know exactly when we are recording this.
yeah, exactly.
But no, it obviously this tournament has had a tremendous amount of parity. You don't know who's going to win any game. Was it Curacao? No, it was Cape Verde who drew Spain 0-0 and got their first point. And then they drew to Uruguay, getting their first 2 goals in the World Cup. Is that right? Their two.
That's correct. Yeah, and they scored the first goal, and then Uruguay scored 2, and then Cabo Verde had to score the second goal late in the game, which was an amazing celebration. I freaking loved that celebration on the second goal. Oh my god, I need to recreate that somehow with the boys. But
yeah, we have some stuff like planned for doing outdoors activities with a soccer ball instead of just sitting here with a microphone talking about it. We have videos planned, nothing in concrete, but stay tuned for that. Subscribe for that, actually. That would be a great way to phrase that. It's been a very fun World Cup so far. Who's been your favorite team that is not one that you are, because you are, a little bit German, a little bit Scottish, a little bit Irish, a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So what team that you are not affiliated with by blood have you been enjoying watching? And I think I know your answer.
Apart from the obvious, my newly found team here, I want to say Bosnia and Herzegovina. Entering the World Cup, they had posted an incredibly attractive song. It was like, I am from Bosnia, take me to America.
Yeah.
I think that made me want to follow Bosnia more, and then I was listening to their ultras supporters groups, and I'm like, wow, they're super serious about this. And then you watch Bosnia play, and they're an entertaining team. Yeah. They really take, especially not necessarily versus Switzerland because they got kind of blown out after their red card, but I think their first game they looked pretty threatening and promising. I would love to see Bosnia and Herzegovina kind of go take it to the next step.
100%. And obviously we have ties to that team because of Benji. And Benji has never appeared for Bosnia, never been called up, but he's just so passionately Bosnian that we identify with that team as Quakes fans, and I think that's beautiful.
San Jose Earthquakes entire as a whole identifies Bosnian for the next couple weeks.
Exactly. So I'm looking at this all the groups as a whole to see who I've enjoyed watching. Like I said, USA, I love their style of play, but I am American just by birth, so by my rules I can't pick them. But I really like Japan. I found I like aspects about South Korea. I like the way that Lee Kang-in drives through the midfield and he controls the whole match, but it was really boring. They didn't go forward enough, and Mexico isn't going to go forward either. So it's hard to be that game's fun. It's a very cool sleeper team to watch. And Heung-min Son did play well. I don't know why he was subbed off. I was very interested in that decision because he almost scored, if not for a off-the-line clearance, like a bicycle kick clearance. He almost scored, and then he was called offside, but he did a step over, beat the keeper, and got a shot on target. He was playing well, and he was one of the only players I was scared of in that match as a Mexican. So South Korea, let him play more. Figure that out. No, it's been hard for me to watch too many World Cup games because I drive for a living, and I'm sure most of you don't want me, to get into a car accident and potentially hurt myself. So I'm taking one for the team and staying alive rather than watching all of these World Cup games. But Morocco, again, we all knew that they were strong from the last World Cup. They got to the semifinals, but I think that they deserve to be at the top of this group. I don't think Brazil has shown that they are, the leaders of Group C. I think that Morocco should be at the top of the group. I don't know if you've seen every game. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually do think Morocco should be top of the group. Their first game against Brazil, I genuinely did not think Brazil was up for the task to beat Morocco. I thought Morocco had more chances. They had a higher quality of chance, and they outplayed Brazil from first minute to 90. I think a lot of fans would agree, World Cup fans in general would agree that they are kind of like the underdogs of the World Cup, they're the dark horse.
Yeah.
But I think, what is it? Their U20 just won the World Cup and eliminated Nico Sakaris' United States from that tournament. So they are a talented squad from youth to national team level, youth to first team level. And I think they'll be a strong force from now and for like the next 10 to 12 years, honestly. Morocco could be a third place team this tournament.
Yeah.
Apart from France, Argentina, England, and Germany potentially.
And Spain, like, they haven't really shown like, oh, this is like a killer team, but they have the quality. Like, it's clear that they have it. It's just like, when are they going to bring it out? When are they going to start proving that they are Spain? But
yeah, not even just Spain too. I think the Netherlands haven't even won a World Cup ever in their lifetime, and you would think, based off the quality they have on their team and that they've had since like 2010, when they finished like third place, or was it 2014 they finished third or something like that, barely missing out. With the squad depth they have, like, they could win it all this season. This season, as in, like, this is like a 35 game league.
Right.
But you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. No, Morocco is they've been incredible. They've been really good. They're actually, like, the way that North African teams, like, they have a very specific culture in the way they dribble. And I've actually wanted to write a book, like an entire book as a journalist, about the ways that different cultures dribble, like the way they move the ball, because the way that a Moroccan will move the ball is closer to an Algerian than it is to a Brazilian or an Englishman. Like, they move the ball in very different ways. They move their body around the ball in different ways, and I think Morocco right now is showing, of the North African teams, the best way to balance that affinity with the ball, and also just tactical acumen and clinicality. Is it Unahi, the number 11? I saw him on FIFA, like a 78 rated player. He's been incredible. He's been, making teams pay for not, rating him. He just been getting in behind and able to finish really hard chances. I've been super impressed with him. So that's who I would pick probably as my team that I've been impressed with that I'm not affiliated with ethnically.
I think that's a good choice. Very fair choice as well.
I wanted to...
I wanted to shout out, sorry, before
ahead.
you continue on, I think Democratic Republic of Congo, or just DR Congo, I'm not sure.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, okay. Democratic Republic of Congo, they're a really interesting team to watch, specifically because I haven't really heard of their presence before this World Cup, to be honest. But I think what's really fascinating is they have kind of like what many would call a mascot, but he's just been a fan. And there's a fan, he'll stand and he holds his hand up because he's honoring someone.
The statue,
Yeah, it was like the leopard super fan, Mikel Nkuka Mbola Dinga. Sorry if I butchered the name. He stands completely still like a statue during the entire match as a living tribute to Patrice Lumumba, which is Congo's first prime minister, who apparently was shot by the CIA. So fun fact,
it's crazy.
I keep a very close eye on Democratic Republic of Congo Congo for that specific purpose.
Yeah.
Because they play in honor of that man standing there for 90 minutes, and I just think standing there is impressive enough. But the fact that they played to him is another step.
Yeah, they surprised a lot of people getting the draw against Portugal. They're actually another team where the way that they dribble, their culture around dribbling is very distinct. I've actually known players from the Congo in real life who emigrated to the States, and incredible players on the ball. And players you might have heard of like Yannick Bolasie or Masuaku, very good dribblers, very good players. And I just want to give a kind of a shot at Ronaldo. I feel like people were saying that Messi getting a hat trick versus Algeria is like, well, he's playing a lesser team. I feel like Algeria on paper is stronger than Congo. So what's Ronaldo's excuse for not getting a hat trick against them? What's he doing?
He's looked absolutely poor this World Cup.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. What's he doing?
Yeah, I'm interested to see if because he's somebody who second best player to ever live, right? Incredible player. A little old at this point, but I'm curious to see if this criticism of how he's played so far will feed into the monster that he is inside. That we know he is, but he's kind of an a-hole about it. I wonder if he will become better because of how much everyone's been dogging on him. Probably not, but it is interesting to think about.
I'm just saying, of all the top players in the league, Ronaldo is probably one of the only ones that hasn't scored a goal yet in this tournament. As I say this, Erling Haaland a couple of minutes ago just bagged his brace. So
yeah. Oh, you got a brace? Wow.
He got a brace, yeah, 58th minute. They're now in the 65th. But it does show something. It kind of shows Ronaldo's age and mindset that maybe it's just because I've been watching these football edits online on like social media.
Right.
But you can see when his teammates score a goal, he's like calling for offsides, like, "Hey, call it back. I didn't score it." Like, what are you doing, man? It's your own team. You just gotta rack up the goal.
It's really crazy. Like, people who I respect and have learned about the game from genuinely think Ronaldo is better than Messi. And that like that's just an emotional response. That's not like analytical response. And I grew up around a lot of Portuguese people, and that could explain it. They know a lot about ball, but they don't want to admit the truth about Messi being better, which I understand. I do understand. If Ronaldo was Mexican, then I would have a really hard time as well. But no, we all know the truth. This podcast is in the debate about Ronaldo v Messi. We're on Messi, even though we hope that he doesn't do well when we're facing him in the MLS.
It's not like we hate Ronaldo. It's just more along the lines of like, this Messi is just statistically better and provides more for a team.
I hate the debate because I don't think there should be one. I think that it's like, well, if you know the game, then you should know what's going on. It's very clear.
Yeah, I think you can appreciate both players for what they've contributed to the beautiful game.
Ronaldo,
but in most comments and social media, that is not the case.
No.
So we are not social media. We are here to tell you that we do appreciate both players.
Yes, Ronaldo is an incredible player, like the second best of all time. If Messi didn't exist, it would be like no question he's the best. Unfortunately for him, Messi exists at the exact same time as him. So
Ronaldo's got all those Ballon d'Ors for a reason.
He does have a lot of Ballon d'Ors, and if it weren't for Messi having 8, he would have the most ever. But Messi has 8. So it's crazy. And if he keeps going at the rate that he's going, he has 5 and 2 right now. He might get another one. And that would be crazy.
I hope not. I really hope not. Who deserves a Ballon d'Or among all these years of playing with a shit team? Excuse my language. Harry Kane.
Yeah,
Harry Kane deserves a Ballon d'Or this season. If he can get a lot of goals this World Cup, whether the England wins or not, I think he deserves the Ballon d'Or.
I think if he can win the World Cup and be like the big, the main guy, I'm trying to say, then he has a shout. It's hard because they didn't win the Champions League. So if France ends up doing any kind of, if they get to the final, even I think Dembele has got it in the bag, and that's just where the Ballon d'Or is right now. Just if you win the Champions League, then you're basically, you win it. But that's. Do you have any closing thoughts, Devin? Oh, actually, yeah, I had one.
Go for it.
I wanted to shout out the restaurant owner that you mentioned. They said that we could record there anytime. I don't know if we will be recording there because we record these over, this software. But Habana Cuba, Jennifer Echeverry is the owner. In San Pedro Square, can you describe like where?
Well, we're cutting this. That's not
Sure.
public information yet.
Okay.
She's not in San Pedro. But Havana, Cuba is located just on the other side of the convention center. You can Google the address. I can't necessarily provide it for you right now. But
What's the secret about it? Can you tell me? Like, we'll cut this, but like, what's secret?
So the secret is she's relocating from her current spot, which is across the street from the convention center, and she's working on the construction for a spot in the San Pedro Square market.
Got it. Okay. So yeah,
But that's not public.
go ahead and say the shout out in the way that it should be said. Then.
Yeah. So I want to shout out Jen, who was sitting next to me for the USA game, the second game. We were at San Pedro Square Market in the season ticket holder section. She was talking to me about her restaurant, and I have yet to go. But I know I've looked at the menu, and the menu looks great. Lots of Cuban food. You can't go wrong with Cuban food.
Incredible cuisine.
Yes, incredible. An incredible person as well. So if you find your way and find your way out in downtown San Jose and you're looking for a spot to eat, go to Havana, Cuba. I don't think you will. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Yeah.
And this is not a sponsorship. We're not being paid to say that. It's purely because of the kindness that Jen showed Devin during their time, together at the World Cup watch party. Just wanted to shout out the community because that's what this podcast is about ultimately. But any closing thoughts, Devin?
Nope. I think that's about it for me. Other than my Harry Kane propaganda finishing second in the scores for the Champions League.
No,
that's about it.
England is the team that usually I root for just because of I know that you can relate. All the YouTubers I grew up watching as a kid are English, and they love England, and so they would be rooting for England, and I'd be like, "Yeah, go England." I have no affiliation with them, but
That's where my mind's
I always
at
want
too,
them
yeah.
to do well. So I am. I don't think I didn't get to see their previous game, but I will try to watch the 1 p.m. against Ghana. Obviously that'll be in the past by the time this goes up, but I will be watching that one whenever I can. But that's going to be it for today's episode of Tectonic Takes. We'll be back in another 2 weeks. We do have that friendly against Tijuana coming up on July 3rd. So I will try to be there. And any Quakes fans who are there, I hope to see you guys at the stadium because it would kind of suck to be outnumbered at our own stadium again by Mexican team fans. But that's kind of what I'm predicting at this point just because of the nature of Mexicans in the Bay Area. They come out and they support, which is a good thing, but not good for us.
If we learned anything from San Pedro Square Market viewing parties, the Mexicans and the Colombians show out. There is no second or third place trophy. It is Mexicans and Colombians number one, and basically no one else for another 58 tiers below.
Right. But I'll be at that game. I don't believe Devin can make it. Until then, we'll see you guys next time, and go Quakes.
Go Quakes.